Smartest line in The Sopranos didn't come from Dr. Melfi. It came from the dumbest guy in the whole crew. For a man routinely depicted as a fool,
No offense, but ask me, marriage and that thing don't jive.
and it captures the series' central contradiction. One cannot be both a successful mobster and a happy family man. You may have the blood money or the domestic bliss, but not both.
You're not gonna believe this. He killed 16 Czechoslovakians.
That Paulie, the same man once credited with killing 16 Czechoslovakians, is the lone prophet of this truth, is one of David Chase's cruelest jokes. Paulie's accidental wisdom underscores a broader theme. Family life and criminal life are fundamentally incompatible.
Like creme anglaise?
Hey, you bless it, I'll eat it.
She's not coming. Who? Grandma just called. So what, no fucking ziti now?
Tony may insist on both, but his waistline and cardiac health tell a different story. He devours, drinks, and cheats himself into an early grave, precisely because Carmela exists to keep up appearances. Bobby Bacala, the supposed paragon of conjugal virtue, is ridiculed for lacking a mistress.
You never made a joke about Ginny Sack.
Johnny Sack nearly triggers a war over a fat joke about Ginny.
But they're gonna recommend 15 years.
15 years of freedom. His downfall is not his crimes, but his sentimentality, a weakness that Paulie, the eternal bachelor, has no risk of suffering. Of course, Paulie's wisdom is not a sign of selflessness, but a rationalization of his own lonely mediocrity.
And I'm going home to sleep. I don't need to keep everyone up with this.
His house is bleak, his life joyless, his evenings spent alone in front of the television or sleeping on what looks like a bench.
Marriage and that thing don't jive.
His advice to Christopher about remaining single is as much self-justification as mentorship.
Hey, I got no work either. I was born, grew up, spent a few years in the army.
Paulie's celibacy doesn't give him fulfillment. It merely spares him from endangering a wife or children. If marriage in mob life is a doomed enterprise, bachelorhood is little better.
All due respect, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm gonna pass.
I don't fucking believe this.
Still, Paulie deserves credit for surviving where others fail. Ralph, the eternal opportunist, flies too close to the sun and is roasted for it.
The feds just hit Johnny Sack.
Johnny Sack clings to his family and collapses.
Who stole Tony? Who, me?
My own wife, 40 grand, from the bird feed.
Tony, weighed down by Carmela, children, mistresses, and cholesterol, spirals into bitterness and paranoia.
Hey, Paul.
We gonna go see your boat?
Paulie, meanwhile, keeps his emotions in check. He passes the "don't give Tony a reason" test on the boat, where Ralph flunks spectacularly, and slithers to the end of the series alive.
I usually do sit with my ass. Why don't you sit with yours?
Hey, Pat Cooper over here.
For a man mocked as stupid, his ability to keep his head when others are ruled by passion is no small feat. He is less an idiot than a survivor.
That said, Paulie was hardly a sterling mentor.
Kick it up to 7.5.
He urges Christopher to get sleep, avoid excuses, and kick up to Paulie. But these scraps of responsibility are overshadowed by his sabotage.
You was sniffing a fucking panty. What? You heard me.
Sniffing Adriana's panties, nudging Christopher into relapse, humiliating him publicly, and attempting to throw him under the bus in the Pine Barrens. His guidance is laced with petty cruelty. If his advice on marriage counts as altruism, it is the rare exception in a life of self-serving betrayals. The irony, of course, is that despite Paulie's avoidance of family entanglements,
One time at the Bing, I saw the Virgin Mary.
he still degenerates into isolation and hallucination. Once his mother, or rather his aunt posing as his mother, dies, Paulie is left alone, muttering to himself and imagining spirits.
The fucking animal catches mice for us, but you drown it.
His reward for decades of loyalty is a grotty little house and a life defined by paranoia. If this is the freedom bachelorhood affords, it is indistinguishable from prison.
That woman is my life.
Johnny Sack, by contrast, may lose everything for loving Ginny, but at least his devotion is sincere. He chooses family over the mob and pays for it.
FBI, open up!
But his sacrifice is rooted in something resembling real love, something absent from Paulie's sterile existence.
Getting a 95-pound mold taken off her ass.
Ginny may be the butt of cruel jokes, but she is also the symbol of genuine human connection, a burden John bears proudly, even as it destroys his reputation.
My estimation of John Sacramone as a man just fucking plummeted.
In the end, his devotion is mocked by Phil Leotardo and the rest of the crew, who sneer at his tears and his allocution. Yet, it's difficult not to see John as the more human figure compared to Paulie, who finishes his days harassing elderly women and sitting alone. The hypocrisy runs deeper still.
Can you just shut the fuck up about it?
Hey.
Hey,
These men teach their children not to swear, not to steal, and to be respectful, all while sustaining their lives on gambling, extortion, adultery, and murder.
I want you to pray to our Holy Mother.
Carmela convinces herself she can wall off the sins of Tony's business from her children's moral lives.
I flunked out of school.
Predictably, the children are wrecks. AJ, a sulking depressive, Meadow, a bundle of contradictions, haunted less by the mob's violence than by its hypocrisy. The show's real tragedy lies in these domestic betrayals.
20 years I've been friends with Jim.
All over a stupid joke.
A fat joke may nearly start a war, but the psychological shrapnel of growing up in a house built on blood leaves longer-lasting scars.
Historically, Chase's insistence that mobsters shouldn't marry diverges from reality. Divorce may have become more common, but marriage was never rare in the mob. Lucky Luciano never married, and Frank Costello married but had no children.
Letty, where do you get off acting all surprised and miffed when there were women on the side?
Yet, most mobsters were married men with mistresses. Paulie and Junior's bachelorhood, their bleak apartments and television mutterings, are Chase's cynical inventions. Exaggerations meant to highlight the loneliness of lives devoted entirely to the life. The reality is less monastic and more messy. But for storytelling purposes,
You're dragging me to hell.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
Paulie's celibacy sharpens the tragedy. He avoids the hypocrisy of Tony and Johnny Sack, and so Paulie Walnut stands as the show's ultimate contradiction. He is the buffoon who occasionally stumbles into truth, the loyal soldier who sabotages his comrades, the survivor who ends life in utter solitude. His advice to Christopher, that marriage and mob life cannot coexist, but they are also his epitaph. For Paulie himself, marriage and mob life didn't jive, nor did bachelorhood and happiness.
I'm gonna pass. Every guy who ran that crew died prematurely.
In the end, he survives everyone else, yes, but what exactly does he survive for? Paulie survived The Sopranos. If you want this channel to survive, hit subscribe.